those of you who want to see the UV, you can toggle it on by using this icon here. For those of you who want to create textures from scratch, you can also export the UVs by clicking on this button here. And just like iCast, you can export the textures to modify in a graphics program of your choice. And you can import them back in with various textures of your choosing. I mean, actually, what we'll do, we'll demonstrate that right now. I'm going to save this texture out. I'm going to put it on my desktop, and I'm going to call it test. Okay, I'm going to minimize ImmunityCS for the time being, and we're going to open this with Microsoft Paint, the king of all graphics programs. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to choose a brush, and we're just going to write something on the sign. And that's my little graffiti for you. Okay, we're going to save this out. So it's now saved. What we're going to do, we're going to go back into ImmunityCS. Just going to hide the UV for a second. I'm going to import this texture, and what we're going to do is we're going to choose the texture that we just saved. And there it is, test. And you can see there it is, it says hello. To apply it over here, we just click on this refresh icon. And there we go. We have the signs that say hello. So this gives you an example of the kind of control you guys can have over the textures and the export process. You guys can really use this as a starting point or as the finished result, and it gives you really high quality results in a very short period of time. So that's always great stuff. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to move into the third mode, which is called layer mode. And layer mode is primarily for games, isometric ones at that, on the most part. If you don't need to define layers for your props in your projects, you can skip this mode altogether. But just to give you an idea of how it works, I'm going to show you. In this viewpoint, which is an isometric viewpoint, what we want to be able to do in our game project is, if a character walks up to this area over here, the character will be in front, in which case this is fine, because this prop will be displayed at the back. But what we want to define is what is known in Immunity jargon as a top layer. And what we can do is we can tell iProp that this area here, and I'm just going to start clicking now. Okay, it's going to draw out a polygon for me. And you can see we've got useful zoomed area over here. And just click on save. Okay, so what we've said is this area here is known as the top layer. So if a character walks behind, this area will be displayed in the front of the character. If the character is underneath this green highlighted area, then the character will be in front. So what we'd have to do in iScape or in a tool that you're using is define the collisions around the middle. And this might seem a bit confusing now, but if you guys try it out and you see the result, you'll understand how you guys can make some really crazy looking 2D effects and 2D layering using this optimized way of doing it. You can see now, if I just go around to the different layers, and I can quickly just apply more top layers over here. If you click and drag, you can move the polygon points around if you've made a mistake. You can delete the last polygon by clicking on this icon, or delete all of the polygons in this view by clicking on this icon. Just going to quickly build it here, just to give you guys an idea. If you guys are using iScape, this is something that you need to do, because iScape depends on the top layers when it's exporting to the various game engines. I'm just doing it really quickly. Obviously, you could take more care than I'm doing right now, but just for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm trying to work as quickly as I can here. Let's make it straight. Save. Okay, so they're the top layers. Another feature is the doorway area. So if we click on this area here, what we can do is define the door zone. This is useful because in the export process, if you're exporting with animations, the door zone will be cropped for you. So you can add door animations over your scenes and projects really quickly. So just defining them really quick, you know, just by dragging out a square. Oops, did this one a bit wrong. Excuse me. Just by dragging out a square like this, you're basically telling iProp, okay, this is where I want the door to be. And when you're exporting the animation frames on the door animation, I want you to cut out using this 2D space here, defined by the blue zone. And that's it. What we're done in layer mode. We can click on the animation thing here, just to give us an idea of everything working. And this is fine. And that's the layer mode. So we're just going to save and move on to export mode. And here we are in export mode. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly demonstrate a 2D export. For those of you who wanted to export in a 3D format, you can choose between DirectX, Wavefront OBJ and Milkshape files over here. Bear in mind that Wavefront files don't have animations built in. DirectX is the main format that holds all of the animations and most of your settings that you apply in iProp and iCast. And that's a simple one-click export process. You click export, it asks you where you'd like to save it, and that's it. It will do everything for you, gives you your textures, everything, you're done. For the 2D export, you've got a few settings to choose from. Are we choosing isometric view? In this case, yes we are. Whether we want to retime animations to 16, 12 or 8 frames, or just a really quick static 1 frame animation for each direction. And for the most part, most props are fine for the static animations. And just to give you guys a quick example, I'm going to export this out now. I'm going to click on create. It reminds us to turn off any screensavers. I'm going to say yes, continue. And iProp is going to get itself ready.